Hey everybody, this is Will hanging out at NAMM 22 with my buddy Ryan. We're here at the DiGiCo booth. Now Ryan, I think most people watching this have heard of DiGiCo.
Okay.
But one, can you take us through this console? And then I also would love, in a world full of digital consoles, and there's a lot of great companies make great stuff, what separates DiGiCo kind of from everyone else? And what's the unique thing that draws people to you guys?
Understood. So probably the two unique things, well, we'll go with three because I have the time to do it, right?
Perfect.
So the first thing is the flexibility of the console.
Okay.
So one of the things that DiGiCo is big on is you being able to customize the console to fit what you need.
Okay.
Okay. So it's different than a lot of other platforms where they give you, here's your input section, here's your output section, here's what it is. We like to let you be able to customize that. How many stereo auxes do you need? How many stereo groups do you need? Do you need no groups? Would you prefer all those to be in auxes, right?
That's great.
So the flexibility on not only how the console sets up, but also how it lays out.
Okay.
So this is what we would call a default layout on the console.
Okay.
And it basically has inputs on this side, and then your master section in the middle.
Okay.
Things like auxes, groups, and VCAs.
Yeah.
Okay. But you can customize and move any channel anywhere. You can leave blank spots, which is actually one of my favorite things about a console, because if you think about as an engineer, and I know you've probably done this yourself, right? I have a band section, and I may have a couple of guitars, I may have a couple of keys, I may have some tracks and some other things going on. I can just separate those by blank spots.
That's
I
great.
can also, if I'm a technical director at a church or whatever, I can literally blank out the entire console and put one fader on it that person needs to come in and operate.
That's
right?
awesome.
So
That's
you
great.
don't have to make it overwhelming. You can simplify it for what people need.
So for, if I could put
please.
this in context for me,
Yeah.
as a guy who uses a lot of MIDI controllers and customizes those to control things, essentially this is just a giant control surface.
Yes.
Whatever I want it to be, it can be. That's
Exactly.
great.
So you have the audio engine inside, it's doing the DSP, but we can lay out the control basically however we want.
That's
we
great.
also have that flexibility on the DSP side. So like what you're talking about too. So what exactly, how many channels do you need, auxes, buses, stuff like that.
That's awesome.
So the second thing is actually scalability.
Okay.
So one of DiGiCo's big things is, we want the system to be able to grow with you.
Yeah.
We want return on investment for you, the owner of the console. So if you follow DiGiCo over the years, you could follow something like our SD9, which was released at the end of 2009, and it's shipped with like 40 channels and 16 auxes. Well, through software and firmware updates, we've taken it all the way up to a 96-channel console with 48 auxes.
Same console.
The same console. If you bought that console in 2009 and you have it today, you would have gotten all those updates. There was a paid update along the way when it jumped from 48 channels to 96, but we're talking like $1,500 to be able to get double the power.
That's amazing. That's
correct.
awesome. Yeah.
So it's pretty cool in that. So they really believe in that. We also believe in I/O scalability. So you might start with one rack, you might start with things like that. We want you to be able to expand and grow as time goes with that. So flexibility, scalability, and then the third one is actually the technology that's under the hood. And that's using 40-bit floating point processing. It's using what's called an FPGA, which you're probably familiar with. There's different types of these, different capabilities, but there's essentially a single chip in most of our consoles. This one actually has 3 of them, but it allows you to do an insane amount of processing and incredibly low latencies. So we can still get things like modeled compressors on the console without having to go to an external system for DSP. So you don't have to worry about that round trip latency. You can do it right on the channel. So over here, you'll actually see the little M button for mustard, and that's the name of our processing.
I've heard good things about the mustard processing.
Right? Yeah. So we have everything from a tube preemulator, so we can go in and do like a full preamp modeler, just a simple tube emulator. We can do an additional EQ, 4-band parametric there, and then we can also, this is where those model compressors are. So you'll see we can go in and have a classic, vintage VCA, optical compressor, FET limiter, LA2As, 1176s, DBX160s, all the stuff that you know and love and expect to use. But we're all doing that, and the entire latency, if you're using our 32-bit pre's analog in to analog out, is 0.89 milliseconds.
Wow.
So that is input from a rack, channel of processing, bus of processing, back out converted to analog. So for in-ears for musicians, for anything that's happening in that world, this is insanely fast and powerful and gives you that.
And that's powerful because instead of having to buy an extra rack,
Yeah.
use that for processing, load plugins
Correct.
in, which that's great. If you want to do that,
Absolutely.
that's great. But you have great sounding stuff in the
right
console.
here.
Yeah.
And then if you do want those, right, one of DiGiCo's other things that they focused on is actually integrations.
Okay.
So looking beyond just it being a console, but being part of a larger system.
Yeah.
So one of the things we were talking about earlier is you're talking like a one-man shop, being able to do everything, like, because you're that guy, right? And there's a lot of churches, there's a lot of engineers out there that they're the one guy who does everything. So you're going to find integrations in here to tie to Clang. You're going to find integrations to talk to Acoustics LaIsa system, to talk to D&B Soundscape, generic OSC. I can literally trigger a move where if I pushed up a fader, it could start playback on the Ableton computer.
That's awesome.
You know, I could set macros to hit marker points, to start recording, things like that.
That's amazing.
One of the longest standing integrations we've actually had, though, is with Waves.
Okay,
so
and that's SoundGrid, right?
That is SoundGrid, right?
Yeah,
So we have a SoundGrid connection on the back of the console. This computer is running Super Rack from SoundGrid, and what will happen is just as simple as grabbing a channel will actually show me whatever I'm on. So it works like essentially an assignable fourth screen to this console, or an additional screen to where we're going. I can load a session from this console, it triggers a session load here, I save a session, I create a snapshot, kind of whatever I do is going to translate back and forth across here.
That's super tight integration because that feels a part of the console, it's not like a separate.
Yeah, exactly. And it's, you know, there are times when you want to run it as standalone, but there's a lot of times where, once again, kind of back to the church technical director thing, I want to be able to have somebody come in and load a session and not have to worry about them loading the wrong session or keeping track of multiple systems that are going on.
That's awesome. Now, can I ask one final question?
Sure.
So a lot of folks watching this, you know, we have folks that are worship leaders at churches, technical directors. We also have folks that are playback techs out on the road, or music directors working with technical folks that have this console. And the conversation typically in the church world comes up Christmas and Easter, out on the road when you're in rehearsal about to take it on the road, of how can I use Ableton Live to automate scene changes or to automate my console? How does that work on the DiGiCo?
So it's actually really simple. You can make it more complicated if you want to, but probably the simplest way is when you're in our snapshots list, right? So we're going to have a snapshot, and that's our terminology. I know people use different terminologies for it. Your snapshot is recalling settings based on a song or portions of a song that you want. And in the bottom left-hand corner, it says Control by MIDI, and it's going to give you the channel and the controller value to program into Ableton. You connect the two, you hit go on Ableton, you hit start on the track, and it's going to automatically fire that for you. Within the snapshot engine, you can also set crossfades by channel, by auxes, by whatever it is that you need. Wait delay times for faders across that as well. So you can trigger all those things. You could also have it reversed, like I talked about earlier.
This is the control surface
as well. So it really depends on what you need for your setup. In the theater world, it's actually not that different from what you're talking about with playback techs, where they use QLab, and they're going to trigger a lot of that same type of stuff. So all of this too can be done with OSC. So if you prefer a network-based protocol, I know Ableton does some of that as well. And so we have documentation for the syntax to program in there, or just capture it and execute from there.
And then how does this handle timecode? Can I send timecode to it?
So
is it just MIDI,
right now, and I can't tell you something, but basically you need like a Rosenthal, like a SMPTE to MTC. So it'll take MTC in and track that. So if you just want to go off of whatever your timecode is and have it recall at a specific time, then that's probably the easiest
so I can
way
use
to do that.
MIDI commands, I can use MTC at the moment as well too. Awesome, great. Well, Ryan, thank you so much for this.
There might be something coming.
Might be. Stand by. We don't know. We can neither confirm nor deny. Well, I kind of want to buy this to have the biggest, maybe most expensive MIDI controller for Ableton Live. Not use it for live sound, just use it to control Ableton Live. That's it. That's right. Leave studio. That's perfect. From studio to stage. This is the stage part, or studio part of it. Ryan, thank you so much. Where can people go to learn more about this console?
Okay, so apparently DiGiCo.com was taken.
Okay.
So DiGiCo.biz is actually
the
name of the company. So www.digico.biz. We got all the information up there. Also, we're on YouTube, we're on Instagram, we're on, I don't think we're on TikTok, but Facebook.
No one should be on TikTok, let's be honest. It's kind of weird.
My personal opinion too.
Yeah,
that's
great.
Fine.
Well, if you also hate TikTok like Ryan and I do, but love great audio consoles, check out DiGiCo. Really, I'm super excited by this. I'm excited by possible things that may come in the future that can't be confirmed quite yet. But if you're looking for a great digital console, this is the place to go. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you want to see the rest of our NAMM 2022 coverage, click the link in the description of this video to see the full playlist. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Take care. Bye.